This is Reuters Today. Coming up, why the governor's concerned about currency competition, and the Obamas celebrate Christmas Gangnam style. We start, though, with bank fines, and news HSBC will pay US authorities $1.9 billion to settle money laundering claims. It's the largest penalty ever paid by a bank. It includes a deferred prosecution agreement with the Department of Justice. But the bank says it does not include a settlement with UK regulators, which it says it will complete soon. CEO Stuart Gulliver said in a statement, "We accept responsibility for our past mistakes. We've said we are profoundly sorry for them, and we do so again." The settlement comes a day after rival British bank Standard Chartered agreed to a $327 million settlement with US law enforcement agencies. Mervyn King raises the spectre of currency wars in 2013. Speaking in New York, the governor of the Bank of England warned that too many countries were trying to weaken their currencies to offset the impact of the global slowdown. King said a black cloud of uncertainty had drifted across the English Channel and blamed world leaders for not working hard enough to rebalance the global economy.
Concern is that in 2013, what we will see is the growth of actively managed exchange rates as an alternative to the use of domestic monetary policy.
Let's speak with Alistair McCaig, market analyst at IG. Morning, Alistair. We'll get to Mervyn King in just a sec. On HSBC, how big a blow is this fine?
Well, it's certainly not good news, but having said that, in the second and third quarter, HSBC had made provisions of 700 and 800 million, so they'd already allocated 1.5 billion towards this, and at the beginning of November, they'd made comments that they felt the fine could ultimately be significantly higher. So they were factoring this in to an extent. They were aware of what potentially might be around the corner, and certainly the share price action this morning isn't chaotic out there. So, the company have already looked to start to deal with this by talking about cost-cutting measures of cutting about 2.5 to 3.5 billion in costs and also asset stripping as well. So I think as far as the fiscal issues are concerned, it's coverable. I think reputationally speaking, though, this might take a little bit more time for them to get that reputation back.
And a big blow for the industry, of course, coming right after Standard Chartered.
Well, yes, it's not the first bank that's got fined, and it probably won't be the last either. The regulators, both this side and the other side of the Atlantic, are getting a little bit more proactive on this, looking over the last couple of years' worth of bank actions and trading histories. So I think there's probably more to come. ING's obviously suffered a month before with 600 million as well. So I think there will be more to come.
On Mervyn King, I don't know, tell me if I'm pushing this too far. Isn't it a bit rich for a central bank, for a bank governor at the Bank of England to be talking this way?
Well, in fairness, he's only got until June, so maybe he's a little demob happy, as it were, knowing that he's coming to the end of his tenure of what must have been a pretty difficult time. But I think he makes a pertinent point in regards to the currency wars. It's always been viewed that the currencies were in a race to zero, as it were. But I think countries have become a little bit more proactive. Japan have obviously been doing this for a long time now, but the US, the UK, the Eurozone, even the Swiss National Bank are getting involved in it as well when it comes to currency manipulation, as it were.
Quick final word on the Fed tomorrow, of course. Seems to be a lot of uncertainty there, speaking about central banks. How's the market doing ahead of that?
Well, I think Mervyn King's words from last night kind of sum it up to a certain extent. Starts off by being very positive and saying he's sure that America will manage to resolve this. However, he says even if they were to fall over the edge of the cliff, they would still hang on by their fingertips. Not really the phraseology you'd want to hear.
All right, Alistair, thanks a lot. Alistair McCaig at IG. Staying with central banks, sources telling Reuters the Bank of Japan is likely to ease monetary policy next week. Let's get to Lisa Yuriko Thomas in Singapore. Hi there, Lisa. What are the options?
Hello. Well, Japan is already seen to be in a recession. It's facing a lot of uncertainty going into the next year. The U.S. fiscal cliff situation and weaker Chinese growth are crowding its outlook and prompting the BOJ to look into easing monetary policy. Sources are telling Reuters that the most likely option is for the BOJ to expand its asset buying and lending program. It's already under a lot of pressure to take bolder steps to beat deflation, and all of this coming ahead of a lower house election just this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, of course, they're already under pressure ahead of that election, right?
Yes. I mean, they're under pressure to beat deflation. The opposition party, the Liberal Democratic Party, is expected to win the lower house election this Sunday. You'll probably recognize the head of the LDP party. That's because it's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He's back and looks like he'll be getting his old job. He's in favor of pushing the BOJ for more powerful monetary stimulus to get 2% inflation and promises to boost public works to lift Japan's stagnant economy. Abe has also promised to get tougher with China over territorial row and to loosen Japan's pacifist constitution. So definitely something to watch this weekend, but whether the LDP will bring about lasting leadership is another question altogether.
All right, Lisa, thanks a lot. In corporate news, ThyssenKrupp posting a massive 4.7 billion euro loss for the year. Germany's biggest steelmaker took a painful write-down on steel mills in the US and Brazil that it's trying to sell. I'll be asking CEO Heinrich Hiesinger about the sale of Steel Americas and where it goes from here later on this morning. In world news, 9 protesters have been hurt in Cairo's Tahrir Square after unknown attackers fired at their camp. Local media say Egypt's opposition is expected to stage nationwide protests today against a constitutional declaration issued by President Morsi. Finally, the Obamas kicked off the holiday season last night at the 31st Christmas in Washington holiday concert. South Korean singer Psy brought both controversy and a non-traditional performance. Days after issuing an apology for using anti-American lyrics in a song 8 years ago, Psy got the crowd moving with a Christmas twist to his hit Gangnam Style.
No. This is not the reason why I'm here. Let's dance, everybody. Come on! Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Hey, Santa baby. Oppa Christmas style.
The concert will air on cable network TNT on December 21st. That's it. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.